Andrew Philip Kehoe, born in Tecumseh, Michigan, on February 1, 1872, came from a large family of 13 siblings and received his education at the local high school. Following graduation, he pursued electrical engineering studies at Michigan State College in East Lansing before relocating to St. Louis, Missouri, where he worked as an electrician for several years. During this period, he sustained a head injury from a fall, rendering him semi-conscious or in a coma for weeks. Subsequently, he returned to Michigan and joined his father on the family farm. Tragedy struck in 1911 when Kehoe's stepmother perished in a household accident involving an exploding oil stove. Despite his efforts to douse the flames, his actions inadvertently worsened the situation, resulting in her fatal injuries. Some neighbors speculated that Kehoe may have been responsible for the explosion. In 1912, Kehoe married Ellen Nellie Price and eventually settled on a farm outside Bath Township in 1919. Regarded as dependable by neighbors, he often extended favors and engaged in volunteer work. Known for his frugality, Kehoe assumed various roles within the community, including a stint as a school board trustee and treasurer. He staunchly advocated for lower taxes, frequently opposing expenditures and disputing property valuations to minimize his tax burden. As tax rates escalated over the years, financial strain mounted for Kehoe, exacerbated by the foreclosure proceedings initiated by his wife's uncle's widow. This culminated in his defeat in the 1926 town clerk election, a rejection that embittered him deeply. Speculation arose that these setbacks fueled Kehoe's desire for vengeance, manifesting in a meticulously planned act of violence targeting the Bath Consolidated School. Psychological assessments suggest he harbored deep-seated grievances and exhibited traits consistent with psychopathy, characterized by a propensity for perceived injustices and a tendency to fixate on grievances until resorting to drastic measures. In the lead-up to the bombing, Kehoe displayed increasingly erratic behavior, ceasing farm work and engaging in preparations to destroy his property. Meanwhile, his wife's deteriorating health and mounting debts further strained the family's circumstances. The exact moment when Kehoe formulated his heinous plan to massacre the school children and townspeople remains unknown, though Ellsworth, a neighbor, speculated it occurred following his defeat in the 1926 clerk election. However, consensus among townspeople suggested he had been devising his scheme at least since the previous August. Accounts suggest Kehoe, leveraging his familiarity with electrical systems as an experienced electrician, meticulously prepared for the attack. In November of 1926, he was tasked by the school board to conduct repairs on the lighting system, affording him ample opportunity to plant explosives and arrange wiring within the school premises. During the summer vacation of 1926, Kehoe had unrestricted access to the school building. At the time, he began accumulating over a ton of pyritol, an incendiary explosive commonly used by farmers for excavation and debris burning. Additionally, he procured 2 boxes of dynamite from a Lansing sporting goods store, a purchase that did not arouse suspicion given dynamite's common usage in agricultural settings. Reports emerged post-disaster suggesting Kehoe's involvement in the theft of a substantial amount of dynamite from a bridge construction site. Investigators also uncovered a container of gasoline, rigged with a tube in the school's basement, presumably intended to trigger a catastrophic explosion. Within the school's undamaged section, explosives were concealed within various items, including lengths of eavesdrop pipe and fishing rods. In December of 1926, Kehoe acquired a .30 caliber Winchester bolt-action rifle, as testified by Lieutenant Lyle Morris of the Michigan State Police Department of Public Safety. This acquisition further underscored his intent to inflict maximum harm. Around 8:45 a.m. on Wednesday, May 18th, Kehoe ignited fire bombs within his residence and farm structures, resulting in debris scattering on a neighbor's poultry brooding house. Observing the blaze, neighbors swiftly mobilized, responding to the emergency. O.H. Bush and several others ventured into the farmhouse through a shattered window, hoping to locate any survivors. Finding the premises deserted, they salvaged furniture before flames engulfed the living area. Bush stumbled upon dynamite stashed in a corner, and swiftly gathered an armful, passing it to another individual. As Kehoe departed the inferno in his Ford truck, he paused to advise those battling the blaze to redirect their efforts towards the school before driving away. At 8:30 a.m., Bath Consolidated School commenced its classes. Meanwhile, Kehoe had rigged an alarm clock in the basement of the school's north wing, timed to detonate hidden dynamite and pyritol around 8:45 a.m. Hearing the deafening explosion from the school while en route to the Kehoe farm fire, rescuers swiftly redirected their efforts. Within moments, panicked parents from the rural community rushed to the scene, confronted by a harrowing sight. The school, resembling a scene from a war zone, bore the brunt of the devastation, with 38 individuals, predominantly children, succumbing to the initial blast. Accounts from eyewitnesses and survivors paint a grim picture of the chaos and despair that ensued. First-grade teacher Bernice Sterling likened the explosion to an earthquake, describing a frantic scene of airborne children, desks, and scattered books. Eyewitness Robert Gates recounted the heart-wrenching scenes of anguish and desperation as mothers sought information about their children amidst the rubble. The immediate response saw a flurry of activity, with scores of men and women tirelessly digging through the debris in search of any signs of life. Ellsworth vividly recalled the tragic tableau, including the devastating sight of a grieving mother, Mrs. Eugene Hart, cradling her lifeless children while clutching onto her injured son, Percy. As efforts intensified to extricate trapped people, the collapsed north wing of the school presented a formidable obstacle. Determined to assist, Ellsworth embarked on a mission to retrieve a sturdy rope from his farm to aid in the rescue efforts. On his way back, Ellsworth encountered Kehoe, who appeared indifferent to the unfolding tragedy, flashing a chilling grin as he drove towards the school. Approximately 30 minutes after the initial explosion, Kehoe arrived at the school premises. Spotting Superintendent Emery Hike, he beckoned him over to his truck. Witness Charles Hawson recounted at the coroner's inquest that he observed a confrontation between the two men, culminating in a struggle over a firearm-like object before Kehoe triggered the explosives stored within his vehicle. The resulting blast instantly claimed the lives of Kehoe, Hike, retired farmer Nelson McFerrin, and 8-year-old second grader Cleo Clayton. Clayton, having survived the initial explosion, had emerged from the school building only to be fatally struck by shrapnel from the detonating vehicle. The force of the truck explosion sent debris flying across a wide radius, causing significant damage to vehicles parked nearby. Some vehicles' roofs caught fire from the ignited gasoline, exacerbating the chaos. Numerous individuals sustained injuries in the blast, with Postmaster Glenn O. Smith among the gravely wounded. Despite efforts to administer aid, Smith succumbed to his injuries before reaching the hospital. O.H. Bush recounted how one of his team members tended to Smith's wounds, including the loss of his leg, in a desperate bid to save his life. Telephone operators remained steadfast at their posts for hours, tirelessly summoning doctors, undertakers, hospital staff, and any available assistance. The Lansing Fire Department dispatched multiple firefighters along with its chief to aid in the response efforts. Local physician J.A. Crum and his wife, both veterans of World War I, swiftly transformed their Bath Township drugstore into a makeshift triage center. Meanwhile, the deceased were transported to the town hall, which was repurposed as a temporary morgue. Throughout the day and into the night, hundreds of individuals toiled amidst the wreckage, endeavoring to locate and rescue any trapped children. Area contractors deployed their entire workforce, and numerous volunteers responded to urgent appeals for assistance. The Lansing Fire Department, bolstered by Michigan State police officers managing traffic, joined the rescue efforts, supported by the arrival of Michigan Governor Fred W. Greene, who personally aided in relief work. Amidst the chaos, the Lawrence Baking Company of Lansing dispatched a truck laden with pies and sandwiches, offering sustenance to exhausted rescuers at the township's community hall. Injured and dying victims were transported to Sparrow Hospital and St. Lawrence Hospital in Lansing. During search operations, rescuers stumbled upon an additional 500 pounds of dynamite in the school's south wing, which had failed to detonate. Authorities temporarily suspended the search to allow state police to disarm the explosives, discovering an alarm set for 8:45 a.m. Investigators theorized that the initial explosion may have disrupted the second set of bombs, preventing their detonation. Following a thorough sweep of the building, rescue efforts resumed. Simultaneously, police and fire officials converged on the Kehoe farm to investigate the fires. Despite statewide searches, Nellie Kehoe's charred remains were discovered the following day amidst the farm ruins. All structures on the Kehoe farm were obliterated, including the tragic demise of Kehoe's horses, found with their legs bound together, precluding any chance of escape. A poignant message left behind by Kehoe, "Criminals are made, not born," was discovered wired to the farm's fence. One of Kehoe's sisters took custody of his remains, arranging for his burial without ceremony in an unmarked grave at Mount Rest Cemetery in St. John's, Michigan. Similarly, the Price family claimed Nellie's remains and laid her to rest in Lansing under her maiden name. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to join our community. We upload every Monday and Thursday at 4 p.m. For more content like this, be sure to check out our other videos on the channel. You can also follow us on our other social media platforms for uploads and updates. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.